13 is the only number that makes sense to me. It's not unlucky, not cursed, just honest. It's the number that divides the world into order and chaos, the line between those who see and those who drift. I see. I always have. I live in apartment 13. I chose it for the view, but mostly for the number. The brass digits on the door are worn smooth from my touch. Every morning I polish them at exactly 7:13, watching the city wake up through the dirty hallway window. My neighbors avoid me, but I don't mind. They're not part of the pattern. Patterns are everything. I keep lists, names, dates, addresses. I write them in a black notebook, 13 letters pressed into the leather cover. I use a ruler to keep the lines straight. Each page is a map, a record of the world's hidden order. I cross out the names when I'm done with them. There are always more. Every 13th day I wake before dawn. I sit at my kitchen table, the surface bare except for my notebook and a single cup of black coffee. I review my list searching for the next one. The rules are simple. 13 letters in their full name, or born on the 13th, or living in apartment 13. Sometimes the universe makes it easy. Sometimes I have to look harder. I don't feel anything when I find them. No excitement, no fear. Just a sense of rightness, like a puzzle piece snapping into place. I watch them for days, sometimes weeks. I learn their routines, their habits, the way they move through the world without noticing the cracks beneath their feet. I wait for the 13th. I always wait. The police call it random. They say that disappearances are unrelated, that people just vanish sometimes. I watch the news, listening to the anchors stumble over the details. They never see the pattern. They never see me. Last month, it was a man who worked nights at the laundromat. His name fit, his address fit, even his birthday. I watched him fold towels through the window, his hands moving in slow, tired circles. On the 13th, I left 13 quarters on the counter. I wonder if anyone noticed. I keep everything clean. No mess, no noise. I arrange the scene with 13 objects, coins, buttons, scraps of paper. I set my watch to 13:13, always. When it's over, I walk away. The world feels quieter, more balanced. I cross out the name in my notebook and close the cover. This month, the 13th falls on a Friday. I've been waiting for this one. It's the end of the cycle, the final act. 13 months, 13 names, and then me. I wrote my own name in the notebook, 13 letters, the last entry. The ritual will be perfect. I prepare the room in an abandoned building downtown, 13 chairs arranged in a circle, 13 candles, unlit, 13 pennies stacked in a neat pile. I lay out my notebook on the table, open to the last page. I check the time, 13:13 exactly. I sit in the center of the room, the knife cold and heavy in my hand. The air is thick with dust and silence. I close my eyes and breathe, feeling the patterns settle around me. This is how it ends. This is how the world is made right. But then, footsteps, voices, muffled and urgent. The door bursts open, flooding the room with harsh light. Police, their faces pale and tense. They shout, their words lost in the rush of adrenaline. Hands grab my arms, wrench the knife away. The ritual is broken. The pattern is shattered. They drag me out into the hallway, the cuffs biting into my wrists. I don't fight. I don't speak. I watch the candles flicker in the draft, the pennies scattered across the floor. Everything is wrong. Everything is unfinished. The ride to the hospital is silent. The city blurs past the window, gray and distant. I count the streetlights, the cracks in the pavement, the seconds between each turn. 13, always 13. They take my clothes, give me a set of pajamas with a number stitched on the pocket. Not 13. I smile at that. They don't understand. The room is small, white, empty, a bed, a chair, a window that doesn't open. I sit on the bed and close my eyes, listening to the hum of the air conditioner, the distant footsteps in the hall. I scratch a line on the wall for each day that passes. 13 lines, then I start again. The doctors come and go, asking questions, taking notes. I answer when I feel like it. Sometimes I just stare at them until they leave. They say I'm delusional, that I need help. I let them think what they want. I know the truth. At night, I lie awake and replay that final moment. The cold metal, the broken ritual, the unfinished pattern. I wonder if they found the notebook, if they counted the candles, if they saw the 13s. I wonder if they realize how close I came to making everything right. The days in this place are thick and heavy, like walking through fog. I wake up to the same pale light filtering through the reinforced glass, the same distant clang of doors, the same voices echoing down the corridor. Every morning, a nurse comes in with a paper cup of pills and a clipboard. She always asks how I slept. I always answer, fine. She never looks me in the eye. I keep my own schedule. I count the hours by the way the sunlight moves across the floor, by the routine of meals, by the sound of the television in the common room. I watch the other patients, their faces slack, their eyes darting. Some of them talk to themselves, whispering secrets to the walls. Others just sit, staring at nothing. I wonder if any of them see the patterns, or if it's just me. The staff think I'm calm now. They say I'm adjusting. I let them believe it. I answer their questions, I take their pills, I sit quietly during group therapy. But inside, the pattern is still alive, coiling and uncoiling, restless and hungry. I see 13s everywhere. 13 tiles between my bed and the door. 13 cracks in the window frame. 13 steps from my room to the dining hall. I know it's not a coincidence. The world is trying to speak to me even here. Sometimes I hear the doctors talking about me in the hallway. They use words like obsessive, dangerous, untreatable. I hear the fear in their voices, the way they lower their tone when they think I'm listening. They don't understand. They never did. They think they saved me, that they stopped something terrible. But all they did was interrupt the pattern. The ritual is unfinished, and the world is out of balance. At night, the hospital is a different place. The lights are dim, the halls are empty, and the silence is thick enough to choke on. I lie awake staring at the ceiling, counting the seconds between the flickers of the fluorescent bulbs. Sometimes I hear footsteps, soft, measured, deliberate. 13 steps, then a pause. I hold my breath, waiting for the door to open, for the ritual to resume. But it never does. The footsteps fade, and I am left alone with the unfinished cycle. I dream of the room I prepared, the circle of chairs, the candles waiting to be lit, the notebook open to the last page. In the dream, I am always on the edge of completion, the knife cold in my hand, the clock frozen at 13:13. But just as I'm about to finish, the door bursts open, and the world collapses into chaos. I wake up with my heart pounding, my hands clenched into fists, the taste of metal on my tongue. The doctors say I'm making progress. They say I'm stabilizing. I nod and smile, but inside, I know the truth. I am a loose end, a story without an ending. The 13th act was never completed. The world is out of balance, and I am trapped in the space between. Sometimes I hear the other patients whispering about me. They call me the counter, the watcher, the one who waits. I don't mind, they're not part of the pattern. They're just noise, static in the background. I focus on the 13s, on the rhythm beneath the surface. I know the world is still waiting for balance, for order, for the final act. The staff talk about release, about integration, about moving on. But I know I'll never leave this place. The world outside is unfinished, the pattern incomplete. I am the missing piece, the 13th name left uncrossed in the notebook. I watch the seasons change through the narrow window, the world turning gray and then green and then gray again. Time moves in circles, but never quite closes. I keep counting. Days, footsteps, pills, cracks in the ceiling. 13, always 13. And sometimes when the lights flicker and the halls fall silent, I feel the patterns stirring beneath the surface. I know it's not over. The world is still waiting for balance, for order, for the final act. I am patient. I can wait. The 13th day will come again, and when it does, I'll be ready.